Good morning everyone, welcome to the channel, and this is the race day video for the Box End Standard Distance Triathlon, and it is very early Sunday morning, and there's a good reason why it's so early, and I'm up and out because I've got to get to Bedford, which is probably about an hour and 20 minutes away, if I'm going to make the race start. So let's get this show on the road. I'm not 100% sure what this video is going to entail because it's only me today. And yeah, it's difficult to film race day videos on your own. So this race is actually a British Triathlon qualifier, and I think I've raced this one once before back in 2019. And yeah, I elected to stay in Bedford for that one the night before just to make it a little bit easier. Why have I stayed at home this time? I'm not quite sure, but it's been an early morning. If I had a choice of staying at home or in a hotel, I think I know what I'd choose. So yeah, I've added probably, a good hour and a half to my morning. Hopefully we should have some nice quiet roads, and it shouldn't take too long to get there without any trouble. So all registered, and it's time to use the loo. And then I'm going to get the bike out, get sorted, get into transition, which is just there.
A few moments later.
So guys, it is after the race, and just to walk you through some of this, but yeah, this is the swim. It's actually a wakeboarding place, but the swim was started just here by this pylon and kind of went all the way up the lake, through the obstacles, all the way back down, and then around again. What was the swim like? Frantic, really frantic. I lost my glasses, got my glasses knocked off. Yeah, it took a while to find any clear water and get any rhythm, but it is what it is, It wasn't my fastest swim, but it never was going to be, I don't think, especially when you're faced with those things, and my shoulder. So when that lap's finished, you come up here, and this is the swim exit and into transition, which is just there, so it's really short, the transition. And to be honest, it was probably one of my longest transitions because of that new wetsuit. Couldn't get the bloody thing off, so yeah, the Velcro on it was just so tough. So it just meant a bit of a faff fiddling about in transition, trying to get that off.
Finishers Linda Collins, Rachel Edwards and Nigel Aston.
So the swimming was also the run out, which is all along here, out onto this course, which is totally cross country really. You're completely on grass or on trail. It's not the nicest run, I'm going to say that now, particularly the first 2k. Well done, carry on, you there? Yeah, the first 2k is, well, you can see the grass. I don't know if you can see the grass, but the grass is pretty high. It's probably half a metre high, and they've just cut it and left it. Here, you can see the grass.
You look behind you and saw, who is this guy riding fast? It could only be Sam.
Incredibly long. Try running through that. So it's pretty bumpy, and yeah, I nearly rolled my ankle twice. But once you get past that bit, the actual other bit is lumpy. It's up and down, just around the sort of lake, through the trees, and yeah, it's bits that are quite wet and slippery. A lot of up and down. One part I kind of overcooked the corner a little bit, but yeah, the run actually was all right, and I run pretty well, so I can't complain about that. But this is the end of the run course, so you can see the sign just there, which is the second lap. So you come round And then this is the finish chute just along here. Sprint finish. So what can I say about the bike route? Actually, that was alright, you know. It was one big loop followed by a little loop, and it was probably long and draggy. That's what I'd say about it, because you were on A roads, so yeah, long stretches. It felt quite barren, if I'm honest. There wasn't many people around. I didn't see many people on the bike course. I mean, it isn't a massive event. I didn't have a good bike, to be honest. I just didn't have the legs today. And I just felt like on that bike that everyone was going past me. It's just one of those days, you know. Well done. But I'm going to dissect things a little bit when I get home. Just soak up a little bit of the atmosphere, and then I'm going to head home. Right everyone, it is now the next day after that event, and you could probably tell I was a little bit disappointed yesterday and a bit downbeat afterwards. And I've had now a little time to reflect on it and consider things, and I've spoken to my coach, I've filled in my Training Peaks comments, and we're going to schedule a call because yeah, I just was really disappointed, and ultimately I just had a poor race right from the off. Now if I think about the swim, I really do not know why I positioned myself where I did in the pack. I was bang in the middle, and usually I go straight to the front. I'm not a terrible swimmer, but yesterday I just did not have the confidence that I usually had for some reason. Was it because it was a GB qualifier? I don't know. To be honest, I had no expectations in that whatsoever, so I don't think it was. It just was a poor decision, which meant pretty much I was fighting for the first 300 meters or so before I could get any clear space, and it was very narrow in places. And funnily enough, I'm glad, you know, it wasn't only me that noticed how mad and frantic that swim was. So I've just read a few reviews on Race Check which seem to echo my feelings. My swim came in around 29 minutes, which is probably 4 or 5 minutes slower than what I could normally do on a good effort on a good day. So yeah, that was the start of the race. Then I had that fumble around in transition. It was just like a comedy of errors, you know, trying to get that flaming wetsuit off. It's silly really, as I should have, you know, spent more time in breaking it in. But eventually, you know, after a slow transition of nearly 3 minutes, I got out onto the bike. So more or less within the first 10 or so minutes on the bike, I could just tell my legs, or my bike legs, were not there. And there was a combination of things going on that I was noticing. I wasn't holding consistent power. It was below target. My average speed was lower than normal, or where I expected it to be. And you know, there was just people just constantly passing me. And it does start to like grate on you, and you start to question things. And there were times yesterday in that bike leg that I had to remind myself why I do this, and that is for enjoyment, for pleasure. You know, you reflect on it, you realize you work hard, you train hard, you're consistent in your approach, and then all of a sudden you don't get the result that you expect. So yeah, your mind kind of plays tricks on you as well at that point, and it was just a case of getting to the end of that bike and getting through it really, I think. And you know, it isn't always the case that you get a result, and I have to thank Phil, my coach, for grounding me on a bit of that today, because triathlon, like he said, and it is true, you know, it has so many different parts to it. And getting the best out of yourself on those 3 disciplines and making everything sort of work together so that you can get out a good overall effort, it is super, super tricky. Now, my run yesterday was certainly the best part of my race. I felt good, I felt strong, I felt controlled throughout, you know, even though that run course was pretty horrible. I raced it well. And like Phil says, you know, was this because I didn't go quite hard enough on the first 2 disciplines, or was it because that we've done a very big early season run block? Who knows? But it certainly was the best part of the race. and I certainly built up some confidence in it. And to think, you know, a few years ago, it's a real area of development. It's come so far, so I have to look at the positives and take some positives out of that performance anyway. And I've always said that I would be honest on this vlog and in these videos, and yesterday I just couldn't bring myself to finishing up this video and filming an ending to it, which is why I'm doing it today. And you know, my coach asked me for my result this morning, and I gave him my time, which, you know, if you're interested, it was 2:44, and it's something that I'm not impressed with, and if I'm honest, I'm slightly embarrassed about, considering, you know, I thought 2:30 I was well capable of that and was possible yesterday, and it just didn't happen. And you know, I didn't even look at the results. I just didn't see the point in doing it. Yeah, my result and my performance is still a little raw from yesterday, but it's about picking yourself up and dusting yourself off and moving on to the next race. And that next race, everyone, is Windsor in about 3 weeks' time. And on top of all this, I'm really looking now at what distance suits me and starting to question the type of courses I should be aiming at to try and get the best out of me, really. More of that to follow on. I'm gonna investigate that with my coach a little bit more, but for now it's back to the grind. I'm off to France next week, and I may take a week or so a break from the channel and from putting anything out, so there might be a small gap. You will have an extra video this week though, later on in the week, so do stay tuned for that. As always, everyone, you know, thanks for following along. It does mean a lot that people watch this and comment on things and that kind of thing. You know, if you did race this weekend, the Outlaw was the same weekend, there was a lot of athletes there, or whatever you did, I hope your race went really well. There were some fantastic results that came in over the weekend, so a massive well done to you all. And I guess I will see you again in a few days, and then there'll be a slight break, but I should be returning very, very soon. Cheers all.